Kathy?
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Commissioner Helfrey, Commissioner Stevens,
Present.
Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tripp, Commissioner Lawson,
Here.
Commissioner Ward,
Here.
Commissioner Siebert,
Here?
Council Liaison Garitano,
Here.
Staff Liaison Cruz.
Here.
Okay. And is someone's dog joining us too?
Yes, I'm sorry. I will get her and put her on a downstay.
Oh, that's okay.
Guilty.
I actually thought it was Mr. Newberry.
Oh, maybe he had a rough day. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from June 3rd.
I would make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Sharon, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good job on the minutes too. Next thing is public comments. Are there any? If not by Zoom, then have we received any in an email or so?
No, ma'am. We received no comments prior to the meeting and there is no public attending on the Zoom call.
Okay. All right, number 5 on the agenda is our Celebrate Wildwood and the Art Festival. Potential changes due to changes to the event due to COVID. Joe, do you want to talk about the different scenarios that you put together?
Yes, Madam
Because
Chair.
that affects that item, right?
Yes, ma'am. And the actual options or different approaches are collected from all of you as we've talked through this particular matter over the last couple of months. And so what Kathy, Gary, Mr. Newberry, and I thought best is, instead of giving you reams of different things to look at and consider, let's just focus on what approach or what option do we want to take. And then once the commission members settle on that option, then we'll put all of our efforts toward it over the next few months, that being the remainder of July, August, and September. There is a memorandum in support of tonight's discussion that was prepared by the Department of Planning and Parks for the commission members. There's a total of 6 options.
Right.
And I think the first option and the last option are probably the least feasible based upon past commission members' discussion. Those are to proceed forward with the event like there is not a pandemic, throw caution to the wind and just assume by October we'll be lucky and we can have an event that'll be well attended as in past years. The last option, the 6th option, is to cancel the event. And we talked about canceling the event very early on when COVID-19 was just beginning to become what it is today, a changer of almost everything relative to how we act, recreate, work, play, etc. And the commission members didn't support, at least that's the impression I think city staff had of canceling the event, particularly that it is our 25th anniversary. So the other 4 options are, I think, really the ones that deserve your all's attention tonight as the commission members. The second option is to modify the event, eliminate those components of the event that create the greatest amount of health risk, and in many ways the city could not guarantee that we could proceed forward under public health guidelines, which is the last page, so to speak, of the memorandum. The other is to hold the event at scattered sites, thereby kind of subdividing the crowd into smaller components. And at those scattered sites, accentuating or identifying the strengths of Wildwood, the greatest accomplishments in the past 25 years, etc. The other is a discussion we held at the end of our last meeting. Maybe just have a Friday evening, Saturday evening kind of event. Friday evening would be in conjunction with the Wildwood Business Association. And the Saturday evening event could be a concert and just some vendors with food and drink. And then finally, the fourth option or the fifth option on the list is to do a contactless event and do a lot of these things virtually, like we're doing tonight with the meeting. And all of those have what we as staff thought were positives and negatives. So hopefully you've had time to kind of look through those, consider them, critique them, and are ready to discuss tonight. We are at the point, though, I believe, where we need to make a decision. As I mentioned, we're really just now 3 months out, and we need to start, if we are proceeding forward in whatever direction, getting with our vendors, our providers, our participants, and giving them the direction they're all seeking as well. So 6 options, 2 of which appear to me not to be really viable options, but the other 4 certainly for consideration. Madam Chair and members of the commission, thanks for your attention and allowing me the time to kind of just briefly go over them. We as staff are available for questions or comments, but we're here to listen to you tonight more than anything. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone, the members, have any comments as to, and I agree with what Joe said, the first and the last one seem to be not wanted by the commission. So if that is true, then there, like he said, there are 4 options. Are there any comments? Pro, not pro or con on these options, or what you would like to see? Karen, yeah.
I see potentially another option, which is a postponement of the celebration until 2021, potentially even being spring, literally only 5 to 6 months after the originally scheduled event. Perhaps one update to share that since the last meeting, the Green Tree Festival, their 60th anniversary in Kirkwood, they announced that they're canceling it for this year. That was going to be a hugely attended event within the community of Kirkwood. It is the highlight and the showcase of their community in terms of annual festivals. I think we continue to see events like this being canceled. Where we're at in this state now with the uptick and the potential continued risk and through the fall, I just feel that watering down the event virtually or reducing it to a couple of activities just doesn't give the city the full celebration that we want to have. And I'm not sure why we're working so hard to try to make something happen that just doesn't seem to be possible to pull off to the level that we'd like. And what is the opposition to just postponing it until we can fully celebrate and do all the parts of the event that would make it such a spectacular one?
Are there any other? Pat?
Well, I think Joe had his hand up. Joe, he's muted. Joe, you need to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pat, did you want to go and then I'll
No,
go?
I'll go after.
Yeah, let's let the commission members go first. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, I was gonna say that I thought Karen stated it well. I'm not sure why we are rushing to do something that's probably gonna not be what we really, really want it to be. Some of these options, I'm still not clear how we can monitor them to the exact precision that we need to ensure safety. So I think we're putting ourselves out there. I like what Kathy had said the last meeting about, we don't want to be the place where people remember that this is where they met and got sick. So
Mhm.
those are my thoughts.
Okay. Okay, Sharon Hudson?
I agree with Pat and with Karen on their idea. I think I like that than any of the other, better than any of the other items.
And Libby?
I agree with the idea of owning it to really be a celebration and not just kind of a partial event. You know, I'm hoping that we could do something in the spring, if not early summer, and get past all of this. So I'm in
Mhm.
the postponement.
Anyone else?
I joined late, sorry, so I didn't hear some of the options, but I agree that I think some of these options that we're trying to come up with aren't going to be as fantastic as we really want it to be, and postponement, I think, would be one of our best options.
Okay, I'm tending to agree with that. I would rather see something done that really shines a light on the 25th anniversary. And I like the idea maybe of holding it in the spring, like late May. I think that would be great rather than having it wait all the way till August or something like that. The weather would be better, and I think more people would come out for it. Anybody else feel that way rather than wait and hold it in the heat in August?
Madam Chair, you confused the Joes. I believe Mr. Garitano's been wanting to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe.
Well, Corey as well had her hand up, so
Oh, okay.
why don't we let Corey talk and then I'll go after Corey.
So
Okay.
what I have to say is short. I've been thinking, since I missed last meeting, I thought you all had come up with some really good reasons why we should go forward with the event. And so I was being kind of quiet here, and then I find that my thoughts are being echoed all over the place, that if we thought we were going to put together a really big show, and then we found out there was this big budget cut, and so we have to figure out how we're going to make a big show with less money. And now we have the COVID thing, and we're still trying to make a big show. We're really trying hard. And if we don't do the events this year, we save $100,000, it says on this thing. And
Right.
we could use that with possible budget that we would have again next year, to make an event that's really memorable, which could also include celebration of our victory over COVID, which I fully anticipate we will be celebrating
Here.
later.
Mhm.
So I don't really understand what it is that is the driver behind continuing with the event when all of our friends and neighbors and other events all over the place are canceling their events. The artists that I've talked to have had all of their shows canceled this fall, except for Wildwood, and they're just waiting for that one to cancel. So, and when I hear you all talking, I can, oh, here I said it was going to be short. Here I am talking. I don't hear people talking about the art show. I think the art show should just not, we should just not try to move forward with that this fall. We should just go ahead and bite the bullet and tell the artists so they can make other plans to do stuff. That's my opinion about the art show. They're okay with it. They're adjusting. They expect it. But as far as the Celebrate thing, why don't we do it next year and go big?
I love it.
Joe Garitano?
Yeah, you've all said basically what I've been thinking as well, that, there's too much still uncertainty. A month ago, we said, let's wait until July so that hopefully we have more data, more information. And everything up to now isn't heading in the direction that we want it to, as far as why we have to deal with this situation. So the trend is bad at this time. But what you've said, I think the biggest thing is that we've already set a high bar here in Wildwood, and anything less of it will result in criticism, and it will be disappointment, because it will, we've already set an expectation. The Celebrate Wildwood, it's a great event, concert music, and folks might, feel that if they were only going to get just for fireworks and just showing up for that, or whatever it is, that what happened to the event? Why didn't we get what we always get? And that's a disappointment, and it's a reflection too on the committee, and we don't want that. I think we want to make sure that whatever event we produce, whenever it is, that it is going to be at that high bar there, or even higher. And it seems like next year would probably be the best opportunity. And there are other factors, for this, the budgetary reason, the risk, in case the illness is still going around and being spread, and what happens if folks feel that they're at risk for attending this event, and so forth. So I support 100% that if we're going to go big, let's just go big when we know we could do it right.
Well, let's, in view of all the comments, I think we should take a vote. And if everyone is in favor of postponing this, Mr. Bunitz, did you want to say something?
Well, I'll defer to Miss Lawson first, but also Ken from the Boy Scouts is here. I think we at least owe him to have a comment as well before you
Oh,
vote.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
know. Okay.
But I will defer to Miss Lawson, a commission member.
I think we have already committed to paying for fireworks,
Yes,
right?
I believe that's in the note. We
Yeah,
have not.
No, we haven't.
We have not committed to paying for fireworks?
No, ma'am. I refused to authorize it until the decision was made.
Okay, I misunderstood then. I thought that that was something that, okay. So we haven't.
I
paid-
misunderstood too. I thought we had committed to that.
The actual commitment is to the band that we were bringing in from
Okay.
Nashville. We
Mhm.
paid part of the deposit. That's the only money that we may not be able to get back, but it's a small amount relative to the overall cost of the event.
Okay. Ken, did you want to make any comments?
Joe, was there something specific you want me to talk about? I do have a comment, but was there something specific?
No, I just thought that you've kind of been through it all with us over the
Oh.
last few months, and I just thought that if you had something to add about the Boy Scouts or just your own
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Talking with other people, and that I'm in complete agreement with what you all are saying. Why try to do something that we can't have the top quality that we expect? It's right in line with what scouting and other organizations are doing. Also, everything is getting canceled, and it's the safe move. It's the safe move to do. I don't even know if we would have participated with things that just developed yesterday. So it's a safe move.
Okay. So I think the next thing would be for us to take a vote to cancel.
Well,
Isn't that correct?
Do we want to let Joe speak? Susan, before that? Did you?
Joe Bunitz,
Yes. Did he?
do you want to speak before we take a vote?
No, I wanted to defer to Ms. Lawson, who spoke, and I wanted to make sure Mr. McGowan had an opportunity to provide some feedback.
Okay.
I think Mr. Garitano just raised his hand, though.
So is it a vote? I'm just trying to think of what's the right terminology. Are we postponing the event to 2021? Our event, or is it technically a cancellation?
I think it would be a cancellation, wouldn't it, for this year? Or do you want to say postponing?
Well, I was just wondering because we are postponing the celebration of the city's 25th anniversary. I don't think we want to say that we're not going to do that
Right.
next year.
Yes.
So, you
I
know,
think
to me,
postpone-
that's where I think that we want to preserve
Right.
that we are not putting it off to the side and forgetting about the 25th anniversary. We're just going to postpone celebrating that till next year.
And postponement gives me the sense of hope where cancellations. and
Right.
Mhm. And I would like to remark that we need to address the art show also with a vote.
Mm-hmm.
So they're separate.
Okay, so my question then to the non-commissioners, does the budget roll over? Do we get more budget or is it just the same budget?
Yeah, good question.
I'd like to think the Joes will do their very best to spicing up the budget for 2021.
Okay.
I would hope so.
Okay. Well, with that thought in mind, we could do, the reason we weren't having the art show was because of budget. And like Corey said, if we're going to have more money, we can go back to our original.
And have two separate events.
Yeah, we can, if we have the funding.
Yeah, maybe we leave it open-ended so we don't just say we're putting it all into one event in 2021. It's open to, we may end up meeting later this year, and as we know more, we'll figure out when we are doing these events and how we structure them.
Right. Well, when we do this postponement, we need to make sure that we state we are postponing Celebrate Wildwood for this year, and we are postponing the art event for this year. In other words, they really are two separate events, and I think we need to make that clear.
So we would
And
need,
hopefully we'll have two events next year.
so do you need two motions is my question. Do you want them separated out? A motion to postpone Celebrate Wildwood this year would be one, and the second would
Mhm.
postpone the art fair.
So are you envisioning, with a postponement of the art show, are you envisioning doing it at a different date? Because in my mind, it seems reasonable to cancel 2020's art show and simply resume the art show in October 2021. Does anybody see that as a reasonable route, or am I missing something?
I do.
Well,
Okay.
yes, Sharon.
I think so too, because the art show's been in the fall. And if you can separate the two out, that would be
Right.
logical, that it would return to the fall, whether we have ours in the spring or whatever. The Celebrate Wildwood in the spring. So I'm in agreement with Corey.
I think there should be two separate motions because these are two separate events. That's the way it's been in the past. Anyone else? Libby, how do you feel about that?
I'm in favor of having the two events if we cancel the art fair and we postpone the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So I move that we postpone the Celebrate Wildwood celebration. to
Okay, is there a
2021.
second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Second motion will be to, do you want to use the word cancel for the art show or postpone the art show?
In my mind, we cancel for 2020 because we want to resume with our original date in 2021. So that's cancel in 2020 and resume.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Corey, you want to make that motion?
I would like to make the motion that we cancel the 2020, what do we call it? Wildwood Art Show? What do we call it? I would like to make the notion that we cancel it for 2020 and resume the October schedule for the art show in 2021.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, okay. Joe, you got your answers. You can.
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
But I think one thing that is on our minds, though, will be the dollar amounts and how much we can expect for next year's events.
Yeah,
And
I would
hopefully,
say we're expecting
hopefully-
good support next year.
okay,
Sorry, Susan. Sorry.
that's right.
Madam Chair and members of the commission, the cancellation of the art festival and the postponement of the Celebrate Wildwood event probably means we don't need to meet in August, but I would like to meet in September because in October, the department begins its budget process for the upcoming fiscal year, 2021. So then we could talk through all the budget items associated with two separate events. I could take then a recommendation from the commission to city council as part of that process. So I think we still need to meet for the remainder of this year, at least in September and probably October, if that's okay.
That sounds good. Is there a motion? Does anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion.
Sharon?
I make a motion that we meet in, I forgot what date,
September
September.
And October.
and October, right.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye, okay. Well then, is there anything else? Gary
hand.
Cruz, yes.
You're
Gary?
muted. Gary, you're muted.
I guess, Joe, Kathy, I'm just looking for some guidance relative. The music that we had scheduled for the art festival, I can cancel, that's no problem. The group out of Tennessee, if we had another date, I could certainly attempt to reschedule it for our new date. So how are we gonna approach that?
That would be for Celebrate Wildwood, Gary?
Well, whatever right now, we brought them in for Celebrate Wildwood, yes. But if we can, we've had really good luck of rescheduling our music to next year without losing our deposits. And if we can do that, if we had a date to reschedule this group, it might work out just as good for us, maybe.
Okay. On the,
Do we have a calendar that is cleared, or, does the city have a calendar that we can?
I think if I can interject, I think we need a little more information to make that decision because, we'll have to think about, do we want the parade and students involved and, what other potential
Boy
dependencies
Scouts?
we have. Yeah. So Gary, is there any way that you could say, look, we're committed to bringing them back, but we don't have a date at this time? And maybe we can come back with a date to them maybe after the next meeting if they'll willing to hold.
I can certainly try that. Yeah. It just works out really well because all the other dates that we've canceled, we've had a date for next year. This one we don't. And I realize we need more time. I just wanted to pitch that out there.
Well,
So
maybe as a default, maybe what would be our regular date if we assume that we were doing our regular schedule, which is then in, is it September or August? The end of August, right? Is usually when we do this. So maybe let's make that assumption for now, but tentative to change until the committee can work through the details.
I don't know. If we want something in the spring, which might be a good idea, rather than put it off over a year. I mean, if we hold it in August, that's a year and a month from now. If we go something in the spring,
Right, but that's the reason I'm saying that is we don't know what date in the spring we would have. So for now, can we at least hold a date and then come back to them with what the final date will be?
I can certainly wait till next week to even reach out to anybody, so. I don't have a
Madam
problem.
Chair,
Yes, Joe.
I have a suggestion.
Mhm.
I had said that maybe we did need to meet in August. Maybe we need to meet in August just to provide you all with some options for dates in the spring
Mhm.
and allow us time to check what might be already scheduled for the typical weekends in the spring, so we're not overlapping. Talk
Okay,
Mr.
good idea.
McGowan about the availability of the scouts, talk with Lafayette High School about the availability of the marching band. So give us a month to kind of see what we're competing against, see what's available, and then we can talk about a date in spring. I'll ask Mr. Cruz to contact Contemporary Productions and tell him we'll may have an answer by August. And if that's
Okay.
too late, that's too late.
All right, well, the next meeting is scheduled for August, when, August 5th,
Fifth.
I think. So let's keep that date, okay? And we'll meet.
And the
It'll
item
be
on
a
the,
brief meeting. It won't be real long.
And is it possible to send those dates out to us prior, so we will have a little bit of
Mhm.
time to look at them?
we'll do our best to prioritize it so we can get them to you as quickly as possible, even if it's a week or two before the meeting.
Oh, that's fine.
That's good.
And as I say, the sole item on the agenda will be just trying to pick a date for the postponed Celebrate Wildwood event.
That sounds good. How does everyone feel about that?
Good.
Love the idea.
Like it.
Okay. All right, so we will meet August 5th, 6:30, and you will get us an email with dates, approximate dates, or, ideas.
We'll do our very best to give you a range of dates in, let's say, April, May timeframe or early June.
Sounds wonderful. Okay. Is there anything else from anyone?
One last comment. Just wanted to thank city staff for all that they do. It's an incredible amount of work that goes into each and every one of these meetings, not to mention all the other meetings that they're responsible for. And I just want to acknowledge how grateful we are for all that you do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey. Okay, everyone. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I must
Oh,
adjourn.
go ahead, Libby.
A second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Healthy and safe, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. I'll talk to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.